Hi, I'm Greg Brignac with the LSU Faculty Technology Center. In this video, you will learn how to create, configure, and use the Moodle database activity. At the conclusion of this video, you'll be able to properly configure the database settings, create and configure fields, edit the default templates, and create and view new database entries. The Moodle database is a dynamic activity that compiles submissions from each student and then makes the collective results viewable by all. By defining multiple fields, students can submit a wide range of related information. The data type as well as other parameters can be defined for each field, thus adding structure to student responses, and optionally students may be allowed to comment on other students' database submissions. To begin, simply click the Create Learning Activity link and choose the database activity. Provide a name and description, and then expand the first setting group called Entries. Since students will be viewing each other's submissions, it may become necessary to ensure that each submission is error-free before allowing other students to view it. If so, change the Approval Required setting to Yes. If desired, change the Allow Comments on Entries setting to Yes. In cases where viewing other entries prior to submitting their own would inform or otherwise influence the student's submission, you may wish to set a minimum number of entries required before viewing. And lastly, if student submissions are likely to include large files, you may wish to configure a maximum number of entries from each student. The availability dates allow you to open and close the activity for submissions, as well as to independently configure a read-only period during which no further submissions can be made. If the database is designed as a study aid for a specific quiz, it's advisable to close both date pairs prior to the start of the quiz. The available and read-only date pairs are independent, so closing one does not have the effect of closing the other. Additionally, if an instructor wishes to utilize a Moodle database as a resource rather than an activity, such that only the instructor can add entries and students merely view them, this can be accomplished by setting the same from and to dates for both date pairs. Students can receive grades for their database entries. Like forums, Moodle databases utilize ratings to accomplish this. Unlike forums, students cannot rate each other's entries, even if peer commenting is enabled above in the entry settings. Only instructor and TA roles can rate database entries. Also, if you utilize ratings, be sure to award points in a manner consistent with the grading scale used throughout the rest of the gradebook. For example, given a maximum point value of 10, an entry deserving an average grade should receive a 7 or an 8. It should not receive a 5 since 50% equates to an F in the gradebook. After configuring all necessary settings, click Save and Display. Once the new database activity has been created, there will be a tabbed menu that allows you to view records, add entries, modify templates, create fields, and perform other tasks. The first order of business will be creating the necessary fields. Fields are simply containers for entering and storing data. The data you hope to capture in your database will determine the number and types of fields that you choose. Some of the available field types are described here. A text input field can accommodate a maximum input of 60 characters, whereas a text area field has a higher capacity and allows you to create a larger text box by specifying the desired rows and columns. Radio buttons and checkbox fields both provide a list of choices, but radio buttons limit you to a single selection, whereas checkboxes allow multiple selections. Date fields utilize drop-down menus that allow you to select the desired day, month, and year, thus preventing errors due to improperly formatted dates. Number fields limit input to only numerical data, and lat-long fields provide separate input boxes for degrees latitude and degrees longitude. Lat-long fields are also capable of automatically linking to a variety of different mapping services, such as Google Earth or OpenStreetMap. URL fields accommodate links to other websites, while picture and file fields both allow the student to upload files directly to Moodle. Picture fields are embedded and are thus displayed when the database entry is viewed. Care must be taken when allowing images, videos, or any type of large file to be uploaded to Moodle. Doing so can quickly exceed the 500 megabyte Moodle course size limit. One alternative to using file or picture fields is to create a URL field instead. Then provide your students with instructions on how to share resources from Microsoft OneDrive or Files2Go. In this way, only the share link needs to be uploaded to the Moodle database. These sharing instructions can be found in the Grok Knowledge Base. Click the Create New Field drop-down menu to select the desired type for the new field. All field types have a name and description, as well as an option to designate it as a required field if desired. But some will have parameters that are unique to that field type. For example, a URL field has a checkbox to auto-link the URL. By default, this parameter is unchecked, but the URL will not actually function as a link unless this option is checked. Also, the forced name for the link parameter can be quite useful in providing meaningful and concise link text while suppressing the actual web address, which can be long and unwieldy. Providing link text also aids in keeping the content accessible. Repeat this process until all necessary fields have been created for your database. It's worth noting that the order in which you create your fields is important. The various templates used to view and create database entries have a default configuration which simply includes all fields in the order you created them. Although the templates can be modified, you can minimize your workload by creating the fields in the order you would like them to appear on your templates. After creating your fields, the next order of business is to make any desired changes to your templates. The menu bar already includes tabs linking to the most important templates. Of primary concern are the View List, View Single, and Add Entry tabs. Selecting those tabs will allow you to utilize the associated template to perform normal database actions, but will not allow you to make modifications to the template. In order to modify a template, you must first click on the Templates tab. This will open the secondary tab menu displaying all the templates. Simply click on the desired tab to make changes to that template. As mentioned, the default configuration simply includes all fields in creation order and places them within a two-column table. The first column contains the label for the field, and the second contains the actual field enclosed in square brackets. When an entry is viewed, the label will display as it appears in this table, and the field will display the data it contains unless it happens to be empty. In some cases, such as a picture field, you may not actually need a label because the embedded image is self-explanatory. In that case, you can use your mouse and keyboard to remove the label from the first column. Be sure to click Save Template after making changes. To move, delete, or insert a field, it is best to use the table icon provided in the editor toolbar. The table icon is one of the advanced buttons, so it's not initially visible. Click the very first icon on the editor toolbar that appears as a downward-facing arrow to show the advanced buttons. A second toolbar will appear on which you will find the table icon. To make changes to your template, first position your cursor somewhere in the row you wish to affect. Then, click the table icon and select the desired option. If you choose to retain the two-column format, you will primarily be concerned with moving rows up, down, deleting a row, or inserting a blank row after the selected row. Editing templates can get messy at times, so if you need to start over with the default template, you can click the Reset Template button in the left sidebar. Once you're satisfied with your templates, your database is ready for use. To create a new entry, simply open the database, then click the Add Entry tab. Required fields will be shown with red exclamation marks. Populate all necessary fields and save. This process will be identical for students and instructors. The student interface will simply lack the administrative tabs such as templates and fields. To review database entries, simply click on the View List tab to scroll through the entries. Or, click on the View Single tab and use the numbered navigation bar directly underneath the tab menu to view each entry. Lastly, the Search tab allows you to search for a specific value in a given field. Or, if it is a menu-driven field, such as a radio button or a checkbox, you can filter entries using the menu choices. The process of creating entries can provide students with a valuable learning experience, and once fully populated, the database can serve as an excellent study guide to prepare for quizzes and exams.